Good morning. Can you hear me? Hey guys, I'm messing with my mic again. Can you hear me? I got a weird hair. Good morning. I don't know if I'm going louder or softer. I'm trying to get it to go green again, and it's blue. Am I going louder or softer? Quieter? Whatever. It's early. I'm still on my first cup of coffee. Okay. I might be going there. Good morning, Shadow. Turn green, you stupid wheel. Am I getting louder now? It's better. Okay, I was going the wrong way, I guess. Come on, wheel, turn green. Turn green. Turn green. Turn green. Shadow, I'm going to have to make you a special spot on the desk, but if I do that, I don't have room for anything. Because right now you're sitting on my laptop that I need to use. Is it better? It's still not turning green. You're supposed to turn green, you stupid wheel. Okay, I'm done wheeling. Good morning, everybody. My name is Debbie. Welcome to my channel. I have a mic that I don't particularly care for because it has no numbers on it, not even an arrow, nothing to let me know if I'm going louder or quieter. It drives me crazy. But good morning. How is everybody this morning? We are watching the Betty Broderick trial that happened in 1990 something. She unalived her ex-husband Dan Broderick and his new wife Linda Kolkena Broderick in 1989, I believe. And her divorce attorney right now, one of them, I don't think he was the final one because this woman was a piece of work, and I think that she fired this guy after she would not even go to the divorce meeting. This meeting was about the house that she did not want to sell. They had two homes, maybe more, because these people had money, and this was the whole thing. She said she never loved Dan. She wanted the money and the prestige. She married him because he was in medical school. She thought he was going places. Um, she just saw dollar signs, basically. And then she put him through law school. And so when he left her for someone that worked in his law office, she lost it. She went cray cray. And she was even crazy before that. She would do things like burn his clothes when she got mad at him, lock him out of the bedroom, and lock him out of the house. And good Lord, Shadow, she has entered her feedback into something. It says, enter your feedback, summarize your feedback. And she has typed something in there. I don't even know what that is. Shadow up here causing havoc. So, we were on her oldest daughter's testimony, and they interrupted that for this divorce lawyer. Okay, so, anyways, as I was saying, so there was this meeting about selling this house that she didn't want to sell, and she would not even go into the conference room. She stayed in her car because she did not even want to be in the same room with Dan. So this poor divorce attorney had to leave the conference room, go downstairs to her car, and tell her what was going on and get her opinion or approval or whatever. and then go back upstairs and tell them in the conference room. And then, so he's running back and forth between the conference room and then back downstairs to her. It was just, it's ridiculous. This woman is ridiculous. And when I read what Judy has for us this morning, you will see how ridiculous this woman is. Toward the end of 1995, the Department of Corrections began refusing to give reporters with pens, papers, audio, and video recorders access to California inmates. In a letter to a reporter, Betty wrote, "Do you know that I am considered the most dangerous person in this prison? Amazing, but true. It has nothing to do with the nature of my offense. It's the fact that I am extremely smart, have media access, and tremendous credibility." This woman she was diagnosed with histrionic personality disorder and narcissistic personality disorder. I believe those are the two. Good morning, Carla. So, this woman, I cannot wait till we get to her testimony. It's going to be a while because it'll be for the defense. So, we interrupted her oldest daughter, Kim's testimony, which was shocking. And we're doing the divorce attorney, which I think we're almost done with him. And then we will go back to Kim Broderick's testimony. So, this woman, though, man. Better to marry for love, y'all. Marry for love. Don't ever marry for money or prestige or marriage is hard enough when you marry for love.
Interested party in these negotiations. You were trying to act in your best interest, that'd be fair to say?
Yes.
And in terms of the payment of your retainer, it's correct that the defendant would receive, if she had agreed to that sale of the house, half the sale price of $375,000.
I think it was $300. Less whatever more the sales cost.
And also the other.
She would get the additional 15.5.
And it was your expectation that the defendant then would have given you your $10,000 retainer out of those proceeds that she would have had?
I didn't have an expectation. I expected it in this case from someone.
Assuming that Daniel Broderick did not pay your retainer, are there other ways that you normally can get retainer paid in these situations?
Yes, you can.
Have you done that in the past?
Many times. Many times.
And that merely means the court goes into the case and takes you to estimation.
Or the higher earning spouse is ordered to pay, or sometimes the lower earnings. Well, no, you can't get a fee order against your own client under the law, but you can get an order against the other side.
So either one of the spouses pays you, or it comes out of the community assets. Is that fair to say?
Normally.
And later, when the divorce judgment is rendered, the court sorts it out and makes sure that the appropriate party is ultimately charged for your fee. Is that correct?
Sometimes. If it's paid from the community, it's normally done without prejudice to a court making a later allocation. If the other party is ordered to make that payment at an early hearing, no, then that's the order. It doesn't get resorted later.
In either event, those two possibilities could have happened. Now, on the sale of the house, I take it the reason you came down is that there was no way to stop the sale. Would that be correct?
Action. He doesn't even know if he got notice.
Your Honor, the defense attorney was going into this area.
Well, sustained as to the last question only.
At that time, Thomas Ashworth.
Yes.
What is that reputation?
I've known him for a long time. He was one of the top family lawyers in San Diego.
What was it?
I think it's and that's when I say, would he have given me more time on the 4 hours? I think he would have. We worked well together on a lot of other things. There were other proceedings pending. There was a control. We would do things. It would wait. So I had no trouble working with television. I'm sorry. I didn't know that the house was ultimately ordered sold, that there was a court order, or that the house was sold until much later.
But you're not saying, that, as a matter of fact, that Attorney Ashford did not call you, you just don't have any recollection of that?
I just don't have any recollection. I get many calls every day. That's nothing I would remember.
And assuming it was sold on that date, you didn't see that as an unreasonable procedure?
No, because I thought we had it resolved when I was down there.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Recross.
Sir, would it change your opinion about Judge Ashworth if you knew that he was...
Objection, Your Honor. He's not making it.
He asked an opinion about the man's
Your Honor,
reputation.
may we approach sidebar?
Yes, come on up. I believe the way you do that is have you heard, Mr. Broderick.
Have you heard that Mr. Ashworth was sued and settled the case for defrauding the client?
No.
In excess of $1 million.
I had not.
Okay. And I take it you didn't take that into account in your opinion of Mr. Ashworth?
That's correct.
Okay. You're aware of state bar rules on professional conduct, aren't you?
Yes.
Were you aware that Mr. Ashworth was convicted of 2 drunk drivings?
No.
Were you aware that Mr.
I
Ashworth...
believe these should be have you heard.
Oh, I'm sorry. When an attorney is involved in litigation as an attorney, he doesn't usually get involved as a judge.
I don't think he can.
Okay. Have you heard that Mr. Ashworth had his name signed in orders in this case?
Objection, that's not correct, Your Honor.
So have you heard?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I have not heard.
Had you heard that that at the time that you were not receiving money for this case, that another lawyer was retained after writing a letter to Mr. Broderick about how best to handle his own client?
Objection, it seems facts not in evidence. Not relevant.
Sustained.
Sir, you indicated when you talked about fees and what's
Yes, in a court proceeding.
at that time, did you know that Mr. Broderick was earning about somewhere in almost close to $1 million a year?
Objection, Your Honor, this is irrelevant.
Sustained.
Well, when the district attorney asked you about the fee agreement, he asked you about how that determination is, how they make that determination. Remember that?
How a court would make that determination?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and at that point in time, you knew that Mrs. Broderick was earning no money, didn't you?
Objection, irrelevant.
Sustained.
Did you talk to Mrs. Broderick about the fee arrangement, who was going to pay?
Objection, Your Honor, this whole issue is
Well,
irrelevant.
that's relevant. Overrule.
Yes.
And did you talk to her about the normal court, how it's paid, and what might happen in this case? And if you have a belief that you're not going to be paid by your spouse, or the money up front for Mr. Broderick to pay?
I never was. I had to. The only way I could get a retainer was by going in for a court order. I wouldn't have gotten into the case. It would have had been paid, in this case, on a voluntary basis by Mrs. Broderick.
That you had at least told Mrs. Broderick that you would request those funds,
Yes,
and the reason you took it is you believed they would be forthcoming.
I assumed they would be forthcoming from someone.
Well, you believe you made the request of Mr. Broderick through his attorney, didn't you?
I did.
And you believe they would be forthcoming from him.
I hoped.
At some point, did you the legal community to make sure that Mrs. Broderick's rights were protected?
Yes. I think I wrote him to that.
You had some concerns about the way his case was proceeding or the way he was handling it. Who's he? Mr. Ashworth.
I got put into the case over the months, a very method. I think I got like maybe 6 months withdrawn. There was a default sent out on behalf of Mrs. Broderick. Mrs. Broderick hadn't filed the response to the petition which had been served on her in September or October.
And then you wrote, did you write this letter on you and Your Honor on Mr. Jeff stationery?
Date on there?
September 23, 1986.
Thank you.
Yes, I wrote that.
I have no further questions at this time.
Spur off.
Once again, Mr. Jeff, you talked about the sale of the overflow. It was handled anything.
I did.
In a very 23 years as a family law practitioner making that assessment.
The 31st of January was the appropriate thing to do in that case at that time.
And you had what, was it a $5,000 or $10,000 retainer that had to be paid?
There was a $10,000 retainer that was to be paid.
And I think you stated that you assumed that these funds were going to be forthcoming. I think that was your language.
I hoped.
Okay. Did you know exactly where they were going to be coming out of?
No.
Did you assume it might be reasonable that they'd be coming out of the sale of a house, that Clintons share those proceeds?
It wasn't, it didn't make any difference to me where they came out. At that point, I was into the case just in time alone, $5,000 or $6,000, and hadn't received any money.
Would that have been unusual, though, to have the defendant take the money she got from the sale of the house and give it to you if you're retained?
Often the monies will come out of a community asset or a community bank account, pending later determination as to who would be charged with those funds.
And who was it that retained you, Daniel Broderick or the defendant here?
Mrs. Broderick was the client.
You never had any conversations with Daniel Broderick about you getting retained through the defendant, did you?
Other than the, I think in that previously marked letter, I had sent Mr. Ashworth a copy of the retainer agreement that Mrs. Broderick had signed in October, and told him again that I would be involved.
About Attorney Ashford taking the defendant's fault, where did you get that information?
I was hearing from Mrs. Broderick every 2 or 3 months on a random phone call basis. I didn't know what was going on with the legal proceeding, if anything, in California, in San Diego. But since I felt that I was peripherally involved, that I was just nervous about being even peripherally involved in a case and not knowing what was going on here from anybody or anything. I had paralegal check the court file, the San Diego, what was going on, and back to that, taken, of course, letter, last exhibit introduced by counsel, that a notice of default had been sent in July.
You know what default that referred to, whether it was just a dissolution of the marital relationship or whether it had to do with actual marital property?
I don't think I ever saw the document itself. To this date, I don't think I have.
Is it unusual to have a bifurcation of the divorce process where couples get divorced? In other words, they're no longer husband and wife, but you still have to sort out who gets what in terms of property?
But that's usually done by court order or stipulation. It's not done normally by just the other on that part of the case. That would be highly unusual.
Now, defense counsel said something about you asking the legal community to protect the defendant's interests?
Yes, that's what the letter said.
The letter that he showed you?
Yes.
And that was because that you thought the defendant was acting unreasonably in this divorce proceeding?
With all of the allegations and conduct, I think it speaks for itself. I didn't think she was, because of her conduct, she was going to give a very hard time getting a lawyer, San Diego or elsewhere, or me. And it was my suggestion, I don't know if it was in this letter or the letter that you showed, that I thought a guardian ad litem should be appointed for Mrs. Broderick.
That was because she was unreasonable in your...
No, I didn't know at that time if she was, if she could come to grips and make a decision. And I thought somebody ought, and particularly in light of the, I thought perhaps some of the legal system, and perhaps more point either made or
because of her own... In fact, a reasonable client. No objection.
Sustained, rephrasing.
Why did you seek representation with the defendant?
a number of reasons. She obviously wouldn't follow my advice, and I didn't think she would follow anybody's advice. Her conduct would just have us in court all the time, and I just think it's non-productive to run up thousands and thousands of dollars in legal fees defending contempts and those types of proceedings. I just don't think it's productive. We handle large asset divorce cases. my expertise is in dividing large estates, and I just thought it would be a horrible waste of time for me to have to keep coming down to San Diego to deal with all of these peripheral matters which never got to the heart of the issue. And clearly, and I also wasn't getting paid. So a combination of those three factors, I essentially said, I really don't need this.
Had you been paid the $10,000 retainer, would you still want to remain representing the defendant? Your Honor, objection call.
Sustained.
If you had received your retainer with the money itself, speculation.
No, overruled. You can answer that.
I don't know, to be honest with you. If somebody was paying my fee on a regular basis to go through what the process was in the Broderick divorce case, and if I thought I was being productive and helpful, I would have stayed in if I had any type of client control.
Did you in this case?
Well, I wasn't in it long enough. I mean, my first divide the house proceeds to get her essentially more than half based on the deal that we talked about before, and then she didn't accept that, and I thought that's what I had come down for, and I thought that's what was agreeable, and that's what was rational. And nothing happened on that occasion, and there was some other conduct that happened after the court order or shortly after that, and it was just too difficult a situation.
Because of the defendant's conduct.
Clearly.
Thank you, Madam President.
Charlie?
Sir, when you were asked about the legal system involved, you indicated in the lawyer that you thought that the way this case would go forward was Mr. Ashworth's office making sure that she had some representation there, even if it was by court order, rather than just going in and defaulting. Isn't that what you said?
She had to have competent legal representation in this case, but it's difficult when you have a very difficult client.
Sir, just if you could listen to my question.
I'm sorry.
My question was, didn't you write in the letter that not that the court system, but Mr. Ashworth, you felt had an obligation, if this case was to ethically and morally move forward, was to go to the court if there was no lawyer and make sure that somebody was appointed?
Either somebody was...
No, excuse me, sir. The letter speaks for itself. Counsel's objection.
Well, it's just saying you show him the letter and ask him a question from him. We're referring to the defendant's hand?
Yes.
Just read it to yourself.
Yes.
And it was your feeling, not that the court system, but Mr. Ashworth's office had a duty to ethically and morally move forward, is to be appointed for her so that it would be someone in court to protect her interests.
Same objection. The letter speaks for itself, sir.
Well, overruled.
I suggested that a guardian ad litem be appointed for Mrs. Broderick. The guardian ad litem would then retain counsel and would have legal authority to retain counsel. As I advised Mr. Ashworth that I didn't think Mrs. Broderick understood that how her conduct would affect the entire divorce proceeding.
You're aware of Mr. Broderick's conduct?
Only to the extent certain pleadings showed up in my file.
During the time that when you first talked to Mrs. Broderick about the fee, apparently, at least you felt that this was a case that you would take, given if in fact you were paid. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I take it that, as you've mentioned before, you took it without money from Mrs. Broderick because you believed you would be paid from some source in San Diego. Mr. Broderick?
Objection, that's not his testimony.
Sustained. I think we've gone up into the fee arrangement, Mr. Early.
Well, the problems then that developed with Mrs. Broderick were problems after someone refused to pay the fee, wasn't that correct?
Objection, that's not his testimony.
Overall, you can answer that.
No, it's not correct.
Okay. So you had misgivings about this case at the very time the fee agreement was signed without having any money up front, is that correct?
My misgivings were not in October when the fee agreement was signed.
Okay.
My misgivings came up in November and December.
Okay. But in October, you didn't have any misgivings?
No, not at all.
And I'm sure that you could Ashworth that Mr. Broderick was not going to be paying your fee, were you not?
Nobody ever advised me.
Well, you told Mrs. Broderick that you had made the request and that you were never paid, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay. And was she upset about that at all?
Objection, irrelevant.
Sustained.
No further questions.
Any further, Mr. Burkhoff?
Yes, Your Honor.
How long going to be? It's about time for the recess.
2 minutes?
Go ahead.
Keeney, Berry, and Pike, October 25th, 1989. We have that labeled People's Exhibit 50.
Some aren't.
Are you familiar with People's Exhibit 50?
Yes.
Is that the letter that Tom Ashworth wrote in response to you, to your letter that you identified earlier with the defense attorney? It was. Good. Thank you. Did you know whether or not the defendant had legal representation at the time that you wrote the letter that's your showed you? Your Honor, objection calls for hearsay and speculation.
Well, just do you know, yes or no?
Yes.
Overall.
Through personal knowledge, he knows?
He said he did.
What's she represented?
Yes. Believe so.
So you're an attorney, aren't you? Aren't you?
Still.
Do you know what personal knowledge means?
Yes.
Okay. Personal knowledge is not what...
Objection argumentative.
Sustained.
Did you know from any other source than the fact that somebody might have told you something? Your source of knowing whether she had a lawyer, was that from Mr. Ashworth?
No.
Okay. And was that, at the time of that letter, you already had some personal knowledge?
Yes.
Okay, and who was that from?
Mrs. Broderick.
Okay, and she told you that she had a lawyer at the time that you wrote your letter?
That she had hired someone, yes.
Okay. And when did this conversation take place?
I don't know if it's a conversation. I think either it's a conversation or she wrote it to me in a note.
But you wrote a letter September 23rd saying she needed a lawyer, is that correct?
She needed a, I don't want to sound patronizing, she needed a heavyweight lawyer.
Okay. So you had some doubts about the lawyer she had?
Yes, she did.
And that's the reason you were writing this letter?
It was, yes, that was one of the reasons.
I have no questions. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Would this be excused?
Yes.
Surely.
Subject to recall.
subject to recalling.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gaffney.
getting me on your
You're welcome.
Yay, now we get to hear more from Kim, which is much more interesting than that guy. So Kim, if you're new, Kim Broderick is Betty Broderick's oldest daughter, and she is telling it like it is. She's very, very upset, but she's telling it like it is. I'm mystified. This is the second trial. Not mystified. She knew he was going to be there, and she asked the prosecutor to please ask the judge to not let court. She would try. Yes, it didn't work. And I still don't know how it ended a mistrial the first time. Likewise with Phil Spector. Because this is just. And I keep seeing a thumbnail on a clip not a clip, but like her testimony. And it says, Betty confesses on the stand, which I find interesting. I cannot wait to get testimony. Come on, court. Minor because this sucks. So great. Pretty sick. But she has that same vocal cadence that Betty does. So, like, if you guys have ever heard any interviews or anything with Betty, she has, like, the same cadence to her speech.
Say that you, in October of was it October of 1989 that your mother brought you home when you couldn't find your keys?
Yes.
And what did you do when you got to your house?
I waited for my roommate to. I think I waited for about a half hour, and then I think I walked over to my dad's house.
So your mother just left you there? Okay, and your roommate didn't come home at all, is that correct? At the time you waited?
Right.
And did you ever tell your father about the keys?
I don't think I did.
Now, you've indicated that there was 2 phones that went into the house, is that correct?
Sorry, guys. Stitch has been messing around with my channel again.
I don't think I did.
Now, you've indicated that there was 2 phones that went into the house, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And one phone was your father's private phone?
Yes.
He had a machine on that, you know?
No.
You never had a machine on that phone?
No.
Okay. And there was a phone that was for the children, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And you said your father turned that phone off a lot when he was home because he didn't like getting calls. Isn't that right?
I believe he turned it off when we weren't home on the weekends. I think he turned it off in times like that, but usually the machine was still on.
So he turned it off because that's not where he would get his calls and be bothered with your calls.
No, he'd get calls there too, but he didn't want to be bothered by any calls.
Okay,
and any really important calls, then they would come through to his own line.
So he would leave his own phone on. Is that correct?
Right.
And there were friends that he had that he gave his problem.
I believe there's friends had that line. I don't know if a lot of friends did. It didn't ring that much. So I don't really know.
Now, when you went to, did the school in Arizona, did it get out in May? Is that
Yes.
what went out?
It gets out in the first week in May, around May 3rd to 5th.
And so your finals are over then?
Right.
And had you taken all your finals?
Objection irrelevant.
Sustained.
At some point in time, you indicated that you went back to Arizona in 1989, is that correct?
Yes, that was for the finals in September.
And had some physical problems.
Yes.
Now, during the time that when you went back to Arizona, you had some problems with getting an apartment, did you not?
Objection irrelevant.
Sustained.
Well, you talked to your mother about the apartment, didn't you?
Back in October?
Yes. And you told that your father was not going to pay money for an apartment, is that correct?
No.
You told her that she would not, that there was a problem with how much he would pay for an apartment?
There was a problem with a couple things about the apartment, about me having a roommate. He wanted me to have a roommate. And about the price of apartments. That was problem 2. But it wasn't a problem initially when I first went to Arizona. It was a problem once I found this one single apartment. It's just a problem about one apartment. It wasn't in general about all apartments.
Well, you called your mother acting like you were upset, didn't you?
Objection Vegas to time.
Sustained.
Did you call your mother that fall, acting that you were upset about the apartment?
No.
Did you call, what did you pretend at any point in time that you were crying about the apartment? Try to pretend you were crying?
I left a message on my mom's machine joking around that I was crying, but I said nothing about an apartment on that machine. I don't.
Your mother made a big deal of that, didn't she?
Well, we only talked about that one time. There wasn't any more talks about it because then Dad died.
Your mother never had mother never made a big
I
deal.
think it was Monday or Tuesday. That was the only time we talked about it, though.
And during the time that you talked to your mother about the apartment, didn't you talk to her about a trip your father was taking to Greece?
No.
Did you tell her that you were upset at your father because he was paying all his employees' way to Greece, but he wasn't willing to give you extra money for the apartment you wanted?
No, I did not. Mom said that.
How she found out about that he was paying the employees' way to Greece?
No, I don't think she. I don't know how she found out.
Did you know that?
That he was paying. Yes, and yes, I did know that he took the whole firm to Greece.
And now, at the time that you went to Notre Dame to a football game, there was a time where you were not able to sit at the table you wanted to sit at. Is that correct?
Objection irrelevant.
Sustaining.
You talked to your mother about not being able to sit at the table. Is that
Objection irrelevant.
Sustained.
I'd like to be heard, Your Honor.
That's just sitting at a table at Notre Dame.
Yes, Your Honor, I'd like to be heard.
All right, come on up. Go ahead.
Ms. Broderick, in
it was about the time that Broderick was born that took place?
No. Maybe Danny.
Okay.
I don't think it could have been Rhett.
Okay. Rhett was born in 1979 and Danny in 1977.
I don't recall. It could have been one of them, I suppose.
And during the time you indicated that you don't recall, or do you recall your mother yelling at your father when he came home?
Yes, I do.
And do you remember what the weather was out that day?
It was at night.
Do you remember what the weather was like that night?
No, I don't.
Do you remember your mother yelling at your father about the conditions of the road and range?
Remember, it's for throwing a stereo on the marble thing. Remember what she yelled. Remember that she was angry, yelling, and that she did.
Okay. You knew that your
So
father.
I did not.
You remember testifying at the last trial that you were aware of 2 of your father's drunk driving convictions?
My mom told me that, but I didn't know at the time, and I didn't know what. I still don't know what year. I really don't know anything about them.
I object, Your Honor, as facts not known, that's destroyed.
Sustained, answer stricken.
Indicating you did know about it.
Objection, Your Honor, that misstates the evidence.
Sustained. It's getting rather warm here. If the lawyers want to take their jackets off, it's all right with me.
I'll come back to that in a moment, Your Honor.
Okay.
You indicated that during the time that when you were in 1985 when you were living with your mother, she later on she got another car, an old Jaguar
Yes.
and a Chevrolet.
Right.
And the Chevrolet was mainly driven by you and Lee, was it not?
Lee, I didn't drive that much.
Your mother did buy you a car, didn't she?
Yes.
And the reason that she bought you a car was because your father, the only car you had to drive was an MG, isn't that right?
Well, she really didn't buy me a car. She just put a down payment on it, and then she wouldn't pay for it anymore.
Well, there was an old, an MG is what you were driving, is that correct?
Objection, Your Honor, irrelevant.
Sustained.
Well, when you've gone through all these incidents about your mother being upset at your father, were they just in a vacuum? Would all of a sudden your mother just start swearing about your father, or were things happening that would make her upset?
Objection, Your Honor. Asked and answered. He's asked that question several times.
Sustained.
Okay. One of the instances that your mother was screaming about when you went through this litany was about the fact that the only car you had to drive was an MG, wasn't it?
Well, I didn't get my license until I was 18, and that's when I got the car. So I don't believe that that was an issue. No. That's when I got the car that my mom got me.
What year were you in that? What year did you become 18?
1988.
And in 1988, your mother was not upset at your father or not saying things about your father?
Yes, she was.
And you testified to...
I don't think that had anything to do with me driving an MG, though. She was mad at Dad for a million other things.
She never yelled at the fact that, that you had a car that was breaking down and your father would not believe you?
Yes, she did. That was after she bought me the Volkswagen. That was,
But the MG broke down, is that correct?
yes, it did.
And you would tell her that your father wouldn't believe you that it broke down, didn't you?
Well, then he would drive it and it wouldn't break down when he drove it. So then he said that we, yes.
And you relayed that to your mother?
Probably.
You indicated that there was a letter that your mother copied and sent out to family members. Remember that? This is People's 44?
Yes, I do.
Okay, do you remember this letter?
Yes.
Now, the one letter that appears to be very clear, that's in your mother's handwriting?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and the other letter, whose handwriting is that?
Linda.
So Linda was writing a letter for Dan, is that correct? For Dan to, she was the ghostwriter.
Well, he wasn't really supposed to send it. She just was upset that Dad hadn't told his parents yet. So then she wrote a letter telling them, but he wasn't supposed to rewrite that and send that. It was just kind of a hint, like, you better tell them. And then Mom found it. She didn't know anything about what it really was for.
This letter wasn't, when it was written, was not to go out at all.
No, because it's Linda writing to Mom and Dad, but not to her Mom and Dad, to my dad's Mom and Dad. So, no.
She wasn't writing the letter telling your father just send this letter off?
No.
It was her hint of saying you should write a letter like this?
Right.
And did you know who, there's a reference to Al Kinsler in here. Do you know who that was? You know why that would have, what that meant?
Objection calls for second.
I have to see it.
Oh, overall, she knows.
Well, you have to see it.
Oh, question?
Do you know what reference Kinsler is about?
Your Honor, I object to this witness speculating as to what someone else's reference in the letter is to.
Overruled, just answer that yes or no. Do you know what it's about, yes or no?
If you read it kind of says that's what it's about, but otherwise, no.
Other than that, you don't know?
No.
So your answer is no?
Right.
You indicated in testimony that that your father needs to people in anger, is that correct? The relationship with Linda, is that right?
Yes, that is.
Were you aware of an occasion where he dumped a pitcher of beer on her?
Objection, Your Honor. Stop facts on that.
Sustained.
Well, had you heard, would it make a difference if you had heard?
Objection, Your Honor. This is not a character witness.
Sustained.
Well, you didn't know what Dan was doing to Linda away from the house, did you?
I'll just answer then. Go ahead.
I wasn't there. I mean, if they told me about it, I knew.
And did they tell you about things that were happening away from the house?
Yeah, like things that they go do and things like that.
Okay. Did Linda ever tell you about a time that she had?
Objection, Your Honor. It states facts not evidence and it's irrelevant.
Sustained.
May I be heard, Your Honor? I'd like to make a decent offer of proof.
As to what Linda told her?
Yes, about the area of her opinion.
She's not a character. It's for four, isn't it?
She was for her father.
Objection, Your Honor. No, she wasn't.
I'd at least like to make a record, Your Honor.
All right, come on up.
Early dude.
Sorry, Mr. Early. The other jury has reached a verdict, and we're have to get the other lawyers, but go ahead.
Thank you. You indicated that when in 1989 on November 5th, when you got a call from Lee, you called.
And then I called Francis San Diego later.
Who did you call? San Diego.
PJ Hathaway?
And who did you call in Arizona?
I called my Jim and Matt.
Now, in the first call that you received, were you upset?
Yes, I was.
Were you crying?
I don't think I was crying when I was on the phone
And
and things, but I just pretty much wanted to get off the phone. I was just kind of getting really nervous. I don't think I was crying yet.
now, at some point in time, when you talked to the district attorney, you related that your mother was upset in that first call. When you first talked to the district attorney, didn't you?
I don't remember.
Have you read your testimony, or have you read your interview with the district attorney?
Yes, I've read all of them.
And have you read your preliminary hearing testimony?
Yes.
And do you remember being asked, reading it, you said at that time that your mother was upset?
No, I don't remember reading it. I read it a while ago, but I could have said that. She was upset in one of the phone calls. I'm not sure which phone call it was. One of the phone calls she was calm, and then one of the phone calls she was upset. She was getting upset, saying her voice was quivering. But I don't think she was crying in any of the phone. No, definitely she wasn't crying in any of the phone calls.
Do you you don't remember your mother crying at any time?
Objection made against you at any time or
Sustained.
conversation.
In either one of those two phone calls, you don't remember your mother crying at any time?
No, her voice was shaking when she was saying, "Just get home, just get home."
And
She didn't sound like she was crying, but I couldn't hear her. I mean, I couldn't see her. So, but no, it was.
what was your mother in the phone call?
When her voice was quivering, she was nervous. I don't know if she was scared necessarily or upset or about to cry, but her voice was shaking.
Well, you remember you characterized that she sounded scared to you?
I don't remember. She could have sounded scared. I don't know the emotion that you would say that when someone's voice is quivering, like anxious, nervous, scared. She was really upset.
After November 10th, you had at least two tape cases with the district in your lengthy ones.
I had one right after, I think, and then I had one month after.
And you had some conversations with the district attorney about your testimony before the preliminary hearing. Is that correct?
I don't remember. Was that the long one that was taped? Or was there?
The preliminary hearing, the first hearing that you testified. Did you have an opportunity to talk to the district?
Do you know what month that was in?
Would have been around March of 19.
I probably spoke with her. I don't think it was a long conversation, but I really don't remember exactly.
And did you have a chance to have a number of conversations before you testified in the last trial?
Brief conversations. I don't think we ever talked at length again after the two long conversations. Then she just kind of gave me an idea of what I was going to be asked.
Did you have time to be with anyone from the DA's office, including the district attorney's investigator, before the last trial?
I've talked to Carrie Wells briefly before this trial, but we haven't had long conversations this time either.
Well,
I read my transcript. That's pretty much all the preparation I've had.
okay. And how long were you at the district? Did you go to the district attorney's office last Wednesday?
Yes.
And do you remember about how long you were there?
Well, I was there listening to tapes before court was done. And then with Carrie Wells, about 45 minutes to an hour.
So you were there about 5 hours total?
No.
Listening to tapes and talking?
No.
Did you have a ride on Wednesday?
Ride home?
Yes.
Bill Green said he would take me home, but I didn't need him to because I didn't go home right afterward.
Was somebody waiting to give you a ride?
No.
So on Wednesday, before you testified, nobody gave you a ride home? You can recall.
Well, I went to the airport and picked up my aunts, and then PJ gave me a ride home at around 9:30. Because I didn't have my car.
How did you go pick up your aunt?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
I'd like you to look at page 183 of your testimony at the last trial. Not being questioned by the district attorney. You could read to yourself lines 24 through 28.
This is from last trial?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you have an opportunity to read that?
Yeah.
You recall testifying that your mother was upset, scared?
I guess when I said it, I don't remember that saying that. I mean, it says that I said it. I'm sure I said that, but I don't remember saying it. The way I remember it now is that her voice was just shaking. I guess that could have. Do you know when someone's getting upset and their voice starts shaking like that? Like when they're about to start crying, maybe.
Well, this was your words, was it not?
Right, it was.
Okay, you indicated her voice was shaking, she was crying, and she was scared.
Right.
Okay. Now, at that time, were the events fresher in your mind than they are today?
Yes.
Okay. So you would rely on what you remembered then as being accurate, not now.
Yes, that sounds logical, but I still remember that she wasn't crying. So maybe I was wrong.
Maybe you were wrong then?
Mm-hmm.
Did she talk to you about trying to kill herself?
Yes, she did. She said that she was planning on shooting herself if there weren't enough bullets left.
And she also indicated that Mr. Broderick said, okay, you shot me, I'm dead.
Yes.
Okay. Did she say when he said?
No.
Okay. She indicated he sat up in bed and said that, didn't she?
No, she did not.
Now, when she talked to you, you indicated that sometime later, when she talked to you, when you went to her attorney's office, she talked to you about your treatment at school from your father, and that took you by surprise?
She talked about the apartment. Well, yes. Yes, we did.
Because you had not really discussed that at all. You hadn't been upset about that. Is that right?
We had discussed it that day. But since then, no. I mean, she was implying that had something to do with why she killed him, and that took me very much by surprise. I think that was I thought that was kind of a stupid issue.
Well, you don't remember. You don't remember ever having a heated conversation before November 5th about school.
All I told her was that I wanted this apartment. Dad said no. People, nobody knows. People trying to full expensive. Mom, I called Mom. Mom told me she said she wasn't with that heat of a conversation. My dad was dead. That surprised me. She didn't seem that upset about it on Tuesday.
Yeah. And you're talking about the Tuesday before that Sunday.
Right.
That was one of the reasons she killed Dan was because he wouldn't let Kim have the apartment she wanted. Oh my God.
The key ring that the keys are on, the one that went to Dan's house. Do you know what the other two keys were for on this key ring?
My apartment.
Okay, so they're both the same key that goes to your apartment?
No, I don't think they're the same key. I think one's the mailbox key, maybe. Or they may be the same key. I don't really remember. But there's something to do with my apartment.
They both, to your memory, had to do with your apartment? How many doors to your apartment?
One door, and then one might. Oh no, there was the front gate door. So both my apartment.
And you were not able to get into the front gate?
No, but if you went through the side gate, you can get into our backyard. And you can always just wait for people to come and get the gate. I think that's what I did.
Now, you did not have a car at that time, did you?
No.
So you didn't have a car key?
No.
Okay. Is that something that, did you have a habit or did it happen in the past that you would lose misplaced keys?
No, I don't think I've ever lost my keys ever.
And you indicated that you thought that your mother in October of '89 seemed to be happier, is that right?
Yeah, she was really calm and we got along great. We didn't usually get along that long. She wasn't necessarily that happy, but we got along we were getting along well.
Now, you've testified that at the time, in the summer that she went over to your apartment, it was she said that she was mad because of graduation. Is that correct?
She said that later. Yes.
Have you ever testified before that she's never told you why she was mad?
Well, she didn't tell me that day. It wasn't until later that she had said that she was mad. I think it might have been since she'd been in jail that she said that.
So
That she was mad about graduation.
the conversation that you related to the jury when you said, my mother called me and said, I'm mad and I'm upset and told you it was about the graduation, that was not a conversation you were having at a time you were filling in? Because you were
I don't
mad?
think that misfits with the witness said.
Sustained.
Yeah. At the time, you had no idea why she was mad, is that correct?
Right.
And since then, you're saying that she's told you that the reason was because of the graduation?
Either she has told me that since or I've heard that since. She did not tell me that day. I've heard that since that was why she was mad at me that day.
And you don't remember whether it was her or somebody else?
I think it was her, but I can't remember the exact conversation where she told me that.
What makes you think it's her then?
Objection argumentative. I think she's trying to answer the
Sustained.
question.
At the time that you had the tape of Danny that you listened to with your mother, do you remember the long tape? Do you remember approximately when that was?
Well, I know now it was when Danny was 11, but I don't remember the day or the month or anything like that, or the exact circumstances. And it's like that.
And 11 would have been what, 1987?
Yeah.
And you knew that he was seeing Ruth Roth, is that correct?
I don't know if it was during that time. I know he saw her sometime.
Well, during the tape, there was a,
Oh, yeah, during the tape, he said, Mom said that she was seeing him. So,
Okay.
yes.
and you recall that being in about 1987?
I don't remember when he saw Ruth Rock, but if that's when, the tape is when he saw her and when it fits together, I think.
Assuming that the tape was in, that they were seeing Ruth Roth in 1987 for the telephone before that, had they not?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And during that battle with the telephone, the machine had been sometimes turned on and off, had it not?
It was mostly on all the time, but then Dad took it away for a while.
And during that period of time, sometimes your father would telephone in the closet. Other times he would turn the ringers down on the phone.
Yes.
And there were
Almost every day. Dad did it maybe on the weekends.
there were times when the boys would be home and they wouldn't know that your mother was calling. Isn't that right?
Just unless she knows her personal knowledge.
Do you have any personal knowledge?
When I was home, I know about that. Well, Dad wasn't home today, so that would have had. Wait, can you ask me a question again?
Were there times when the boys would be home and the phone, your mother would be calling and the answer machine would intercept the call so that your brothers wouldn't know that your mother was calling?
During dinner, the machine was on and they weren't allowed to answer the phone. Sometimes after dinner, the ringers would be turned off. But and they would basically know if she was calling. We would tell them, unless of course then I wasn't home. I don't really know what you mean.
Was there a lot of times when you weren't home?
Not on school nights. No, not usually I was home on school nights.
The time of the call with Danny, you indicated that was surprising because of Danny's, the amount of Danny's, at least anger of what he was saying. Is that correct?
Yes.
It's out of character for Danny to do that?
Yes.
Do you know whether he had had any conversations with his psychologist about expressing his anger?
No.
You also indicated that it was unusual that because your mother took the fact that she stayed on the line and listened. Okay. And you also indicated that Danny would never talk that way to your father. Your father, when the phone call
first started, how long would you say that they were talking before the machine was turned on?
I don't know.
Do you remember giving an estimate of about 10 minutes?
From when I got there, it could have gone on before that, but I just got home. So basically,
So Danny was already on the phone when you got home.
no, I don't know that. By the time I came upstairs, he was on the phone.
So the first thing that you noticed about Danny is on the phone talking to your mother.
Right.
Okay. And your father was upstairs, you indicated changing light bulbs?
He was doing work in his room. He was changing a light. I remember him fidgeting with the light fixtures. He might have been putting out new light fixtures.
And your father continued to do that the whole time that Danny was on the phone, is that correct?
He was in his room and doing something. I don't know if he did that the whole time.
Now, Danny was, for the whole time that Danny was on the phone talking that way to your mother, your father, you indicated, was in the next room within hearing distance. I mean, you could hear Danny from where your father was.
Yes.
And so for the 40 minutes that Danny was on the phone, obviously very upset, your father allowed that to go on, is that correct?
Yes, he did.
Okay. And it was your indication that the reason he allowed that to go on is so that he could gather evidence of the kind of phone calls.
No. Dad wasn't supposed to interfere with their contact with Mom. And that maybe also if Ruth Roth told him to express anger, maybe he was letting him express anger.
Okay, we're gonna stop there. Okay, we're gonna stop there. So we can go to the Donna Adelson trial in Florida. we were in California. Now we're gonna go to Florida. This should redirect you to the matriarch mastermind murder trial, Florida v. Donna Adelson. And if you're going to go with us over there, it'll portal you. If not, I will see you again in the morning for more of the Betty Broderick trial. Thank you so much for coming out. And I will see you at the next one. Bye, guys.